stay out a lot, and throw with receivers after practice. Are you still trying to get on the same page with something? Are you working on something specific? What is this sort of?
I think that's kind of typical for anybody. Just continue to work on stuff and get better. And I think I'm on a pretty good page with all the guys now. Obviously, TB and Kadero are still 2 or 3 weeks into this thing, so there are some things with them. But no, everyone else just some work.
It's a week-to-week thing, but just what's the anticipation like of just trying to win that first one or get that first one with the new team? Like just explain your mindset into what goes into trying to just get that first win.
We're trying to win every week, and of course we need to get the first one before we can get the second one. So this week's hopefully the week to do it, and we'll be ready to go. We're an optimistic group. We're a resilient group, and I don't think we're phased right now by the past. I think we're ready to go.
Jared, how do you look at the Bears, specifically their front seven this week?
Yeah, always good. Always good. They've always been good since I've played them, since I've been in the league. They've been tough on defense and do a lot of things. Anytime a team's got Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack over there, they're going to be an issue. So we'll be ready for them.
Jared, I don't know if there really is an answer for this, but how do you account for the ebbs and the flows and all that of the offense? In other words, you're stalled out for a half a game, then you're cooking. You get going at the start, then what is there about the rhythm of the game or whatever leads to that?
You're saying how does that happen?
Yeah, if there is an answer to that.
I don't know if it's one thing. I think it's always a multitude of things. Sometimes it's penalties, sometimes it's lack of execution, sometimes the defense is playing well. It's a multitude of things. Obviously, the good offenses, it doesn't happen very often, so we need to limit that and get better.
What's it like when it's going like that? As a quarterback and you're directing that and you're really going, what's that feel like?
When it's working?
Yeah.
It feels great, man. That's the way it's supposed to go. And, it's what we hope to get to pretty soon here.
But does it kind of build on itself when you're moving the ball, open up?
Yeah, it's all momentum, right? It's part of the game, and I think, every team has it that way where you start moving the ball, you start throwing completions, you start running the ball efficiently. It kind of builds momentum for the rest of the game and tends to lead to good things.
2 weeks, first half in Green Bay was excellent. Three possessions, 3 scores, and then similar thing here in the second half against Baltimore. How close do you think you are to, after looking at the film, putting it together for 60 minutes?
Yeah, I think really close. I think it's a constant. How do we get better today? How do we get better next day? And it's always that way. But you feel close. You always do, and we have to do it. We have to put it on the field. We have to do it on game day on Sundays and make it come to life. And yeah, I do feel like we're close to doing that and putting 4 quarters together.
Some inconsistencies that were consistent through the second half in Green Bay, through that first half against Baltimore, that you can point to and say, this is where we got to clean it up if we're going to get to that stage?
I don't remember quite the penalties in the second half of Green Bay. Maybe we had a couple, but that was kind of the theme of the first half last week. And no, I don't know. I can't point to anything specifically.
There's some pretty talented quarterbacks in the NFL right now, including a guy on the other sideline from you, but they're having their struggles. You went through that a little bit as a rookie. Just can you speak to maybe how and why that position is so difficult on a young guy?
Yeah, we do this every year when these kids get drafted in the top 10, and we expect them to be the best player in the league right away. And it's rare. It's rare. I think you look around the league and how many guys have done that in the last 20 years. I don't know, 1 or 2. Mahomes may have ruined it for all these guys being as good as he was in year 2. But it's a tough game. It's a different sport than in college almost. It's a different game. It's tough, and I remember my transition was hard, and you're learning a lot. You're learning on the fly, and I remember they always ask you, are you ready to play? Are you ready to play? No, you're never ready to play as a rookie. You never are until you go out there and do it, and you have to experience it. You have to go through it, and you have to make the mistakes and get better. So, I always laugh at it every year. We're calling out who's going to be good and who's going to be bad after their rookie season. And, give them 3 years, give them 4 years, see how they pan out, and then make your decision. But no, I wish the best for Justin. I think he's a hell of a player.
Seems like, right?
It seems like it, and right or wrong, I think at our position, it's too hard. It's too hard to expect them to pick it up right away. They need to make those mistakes. They need to go through the trials and tribulations. They need to go make the mistake, watch it, and then not make the mistake again. And that's kind of the way it goes.
Is that as simple as it is? Just learning, because year 2 is a different story for you than year 1, and that is the case for a lot of guys.
That's usually, they say, the biggest jump, right? Year 1 to year 2. But like I say again, you have to make those mistakes. Like the mistakes that they're all making are mistakes that every single one of us has made at one point in our career, and we're probably written off the same way that a lot of them get written off. And it's part of the process of becoming an NFL quarterback for sure, and kind of learning that sometimes you guys aren't always right when you say who's good and bad. So I think all these guys are tremendous, and I wish them all the best.
You spoke to the value of experience there and learning it on the field to get your feel. So when was the moment you went into a game comfortable as an NFL quarterback?
I started, I think, 7 games my rookie year. I would say none of them were comfortable. Probably about halfway through that second year where you start to get your feet wet a little bit. I don't know, call it 15 games, 10 games maybe, 12 starts. Once you get there, then you're like, okay, like I know how this works, a little bit. And then, I look back at myself in that year and I go, I knew nothing, right? And that's kind of the way it goes for your whole life. And hopefully I'll look back at this right now and, look at, oh, what an idiot he was in year 6 doing that type of stuff. So, that's just the way it goes.
Did the clock reset at all when you jumped from team to team? Like, did you feel like this was just building off everything that came before it, or did it start over at all experience-wise?
No, I feel like it builds. Yeah, it's consistent. Every year you just gain more experience.
How much did you learn from the first 9 games of not playing compared to the last 7?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I always, when I was a rookie, Coach Fisher caught a lot of heat for not putting me on the field, and I wasn't ready. No one ever is, right? And I look back at those 9 games as like some of the most valuable learning experiences I had with Case Keenum as a starter, and learning from him, learning from his successes, learning from his mistakes, and just the way he treated me. It was invaluable learning experience, and I'm sure Patrick would say the same thing about Alex, and Aaron would say the same thing about Brett sitting behind. Like those guys got that experience of learning that stuff.
Ready when you were sitting though? I mean, until you got
Of course,
in,
you always do. Yeah, you always want to play, and you think you're ready, but you never are. Like you can't prepare for it until you go through it and play the game. And maybe you sit out for a year or 2 and then you're ready. I don't know, but you need to go through the game. You need to make the experience. You need to throw the bad interceptions. You need to miss the blitz pickups. You need to do all that stuff, and then you'll be fine. Correct.
Until you don't know.
Exactly, and they can't teach you until you go through it yourself.
Speaking of young players, Amon-Ra hasn't really gotten a ton of targets so far this year. Is it just, it hasn't been his turn yet? Everyone else getting more opportunities, or you guys still
that's
working?
a good question. I don't know. We'd love to get him involved. He's always in the game plan. He's always a part of what we want to do, and just probably a circumstance, not something that is any bit intentional or anything like that. We're trying to get him involved as much as we can.
Do you think it's kind of the same kind of rookie? Take some time for him to get chemistry with you, or
no? I feel like he's good. He's been good since he got here, and is ready for those touches, I would imagine.
The Ravens were able to limit Hawkinson last week. What did you see from that, and what did you learn from it moving forward?
Yeah, they did some good things to double him and just get him off the ball, get him off of the route he was trying to be on, and maybe there were some situations where I could have gotten the ball where I didn't, but they did a good job, man. And we expected teams to start doing that. I think he had like 16 catches through the first 2 games, so that'd be what you'd expect. So we'll see what these guys do this week, but we'll be ready for it.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.